And good in the house, back with another bang on video where, ladies and gentlemen, unbelievable news for you guys because we have got second Arsenal completed signing for you in this video. So keep watching the video till the end and make sure if you subscribe, make sure if you did not subscribe, do subscribe to the channel because we're on a mission of reaching 5,000 subscribers. And if you seek daily Arsenal news twice, so make sure you subscribe and hit that bell icon because we're going to do 2 videos of Arsenal every single day. We're not far off 75 subscribers, and I'm just asking you guys if you can help me out within 5 days. Let us get 75 subscribers and reach the most important milestone next for our channel, and that will be 5,000 subscribers. So the first news that's actually hitting us, it looks likely that Arteta will have to make do with loans and free transfers unless he can generate his own spending kitty, though the unknown is whether Stan Kroenke, the owner, will try to inject money, potentially via a share issue. Well, that's how we function these days now. Well, talking about Kieran Tierney on his London life, he says, people say, what's the city like? I have no idea. I've never been in. I train, I work hard, I go home and recover and train the next day. It is just a simple life, and I just put everything into football. Well, this guy, this Tesco bag guy, is an unbelievable guy. I love him. And that's exactly how life should be. It's as simple as that. Well, moving on. If Arsenal are to beat Wolves tomorrow, they need to do something special to actually stop this one huge rock of a man called as Adama Traore, because Adama Traore for Wolves in the Premier League this season has been unbelievable. Most attempted take-ons 210, most successful take-ons 157, most fouls suffered 66, most passes into the box 36, most final third tackles 12, and most assists, that is 9. So it will be a bigger contest between him and Kieran Tierney. It's about pace, it's about physicality. If Kieran Tierney can win a battle against this behemoth of a footballer, then I believe Kieran Tierney has passed the test. I mean, he's the best left back in the whole, for me, he would be the best left back for me in the whole Premier League because he's facing the biggest threat of them all, and that is the name called as Adama Traore. Well, vaguely ominous post from a Florent Balogun. He could be reminiscing before an exit or could be missing playing competitive matches. Either way, he's back at Arsenal again at last, but his future still is in shambles or probably in the air for now. Well, I've got to share as a big story with you guys of Robert Pires talking about Wenger. He said, in 2002, I missed the end of the season with Arsenal and missed the World Cup with France through injury. I remember after the knee surgery I was in France, and every morning, I repeat, every morning at the same time, he called me just to say, how are you? For me, psychologically, this call every morning when I was injured was very, very important. I call him boss, not Arsene. Even now, he is the boss, and he will remain the boss. And this is the biggest reason why it is pretty much clear that, Robert Pires is an unbelievable. I mean, Arsene Wenger is an unbelievable legend. And also, Robert Pires says, I used to play for Metz when he was the manager of Monaco. He called me one day and said, I've seen you a long time since you played for Metz. Now you play for Marseille, but for next season, I need you. And that's how we got Robert Pires. Now, this is huge, isn't it? Well, talking about more things, Mikel Arteta has spoken about Mesut Ozil and his role in the Arsenal's 3-4-3 new system that Arsenal are deploying. He says, I think players can adapt to different systems and we can adapt systems for different players. There is always a place for a player of Mesut's quality. I would suggest otherwise. If Mesut is not available, it could be a blessing in disguise, isn't it? But we can't wait for him, is it? Well, moving on. Monaco has offered a 5-year contract to Reims centre-back Axel Disasi. Decision from the player is expected quickly. Reims now await firm offers from French or English clubs, for example, Wolves and Southampton, who are also interested because Wolves have submitted a £13.5 million bid for Axel Disasi. The player's agents' demands are extremely high, which is deterring some clubs from attempting to sign him. Rennes and Arsenal have shown interest in the past, but not currently. So you can understand that Axel Disasi at Arsenal may or may not happen right now. But moving on, very interesting to see that Arsenal are third in the Premier League table since New Year's Day. Pretty remarkable for a squad lacking in multiple areas. With the right improvements in the summer, there's only one way for us, that is to go up. So you can understand, under Mikel Arteta, it is a simple, small thing that there are small signs, but there are improvements under Mikel Arteta. We have secured most amount of points right after Manchester City and Liverpool probably, and that's the whole reason why I respect Mikel Arteta more, isn't it? Well, not only this, pubs can open from 6 a.m. tomorrow, and it is an unbelievable thing, isn't it? Well, the stocks will be really high for the people to actually go and binge, but I think people have missed it, isn't it? And moving on, the Arsenal 1990-1991 team did not gain media momentum. They achieved the league championship with only one defeat and received 18 goals in the net throughout the season. The only loss was from Chelsea, and one of the reasons may have been the prison team captain, prison of Tony Adams, because of his driving while he was drunk. And Arsenal, under the leadership of George Graham, was one of the squads that pursued a purely defensive style and was dubbed the boring Arsenal. George Graham was sacked and replaced by Arsene Wenger, and we know what the legend did after arriving. So Arsenal have met Wolves 115 times in all competitions since the first meeting in 1904. Arsenal have won 57, lost 30 of them, and 27 have finished in a draw. We have not beaten them in any of the last 3 meetings and won only one of the last 5. So this could say a lot. Well, problems are that Premier League referees have been alerted to the likelihood that the next campaign will begin on the potential date of 22nd of August. Yes, 22nd of August you could see the Premier League 2020-2021 starting, but the problem is that Manchester United, Manchester City and Wolves all face missing the start of next term because of the delayed European campaigns, because we all know the whole of August is the Champions League and the Europa League competitions, European competitions, if I can elaborate more on it. Well, moving on. Well, introducing our second summer signing, Marlene Goods. Well, Arsenal women's team has actually signed a new player in Marlene Goods. Well, she is a Swiss teenage 19-year-old midfielder, Marlene Goods, and she signed from Grasshopper Zurich. So you can understand the excitement into Arsenal women's team because they've already made 2 signings in terms of improving the whole situation. Well, talking about it, well, Arteta has spoken about on learnings from City. He says, I learned them then how important it is that everybody buys into what you're doing if you want to create something long term. We weren't able to change what we had to change in first season, but we were able to do that in the second season. So this clearly means that, we could have a real huge thing coming up in the next season. Well, let's see. Well, Mikel Arteta is open to selling both Matteo Guendouzi and Lucas Torreira. The club are targeting Thomas Partey and Dominique Szoboszlai to actually stamp their authority. But Arsenal are the best placed team to sign Thomas Partey. It is complicated for Napoli to match the North London club's financial package, which triples Thomas's current wages, because Arsenal are seriously considering triggering Thomas Partey's 50 million euros buyout clause, and that won't stop them. They're completely determined to do that. But not only this, Arsenal are looking to they're actually looking at all avenues to sign Thomas Partey. It could also involve Matteo Guendouzi in a swap deal, or probably Alex Lacazette, but they will definitely venture into that kind of possibilities. Well, talking about Edmilson, well, the former Barcelona and Brazil enforcer explains why things went amiss at Highbury. He said, I had everything agreed to join Arsenal in 2000. But Barcelona's 2006 Champions League winning midfielder Edmilson has said that he was very close to sign Arsenal at the turn of the century. Well, that's really great, isn't it? He says, I had agreed everything for a move to Arsenal, but ended up at Lyon. Arsene Wenger was friends with Jose Fuentes, who'd been working for Peugeot in Brazil and became my agent. My name was mentioned when Wenger came to Brazil to watch me play and we spoke. He told me he was looking for a tall, dynamic midfielder who was versatile enough to play in more than one position. We agreed on terms, but unfortunately I couldn't meet the criteria to get a work permit. I hadn't enough time for Brazil and didn't have the Italian passport I have now. It was hard to take because I wanted a move to Europe, but then Lyon came and I was happy to join them. And finally, Alan Shearer agrees with what Mikel Arteta said about Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang at Arsenal. Alan Shearer says, actually Mikel Arteta said that hopefully he will be here for a long time, to which Alan Shearer replies, he's a fantastic player and he'll be the key to what Arteta is trying to do at Arsenal. It's imperative they keep him there. I know he's got a year left on his contract, but they want to and need to tie him down on a long-term contract. So Alan Shearer is pretty much agreed upon this whole thing that Arsenal should go on and keep Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, and he's actually agreed with the whole situation, obviously. Well, not only this, well, talking about more, Manchester United are set to make £45 million transfer move for Arsenal flop Ismail Bennacer with AC Milan star also eyed by Manchester City. Well, unbelievable. I think AC Milan signed him from Empoli, and we actually received a good amount of windfall. But let's move on. Well, talking about more things, Arsenal should sacrifice others for Aubameyang, says Alan Smith. Alan Smith says it was bad enough when the likes of Cesc Fabregas and Robin van Persie left to go and win trophies, but at least Arsenal had the means back then to bring in decent replacements, even though they weren't of the same quality. The situation appears different now. Money is extremely tight. Not only that, Arsenal cachet has changed. No longer a Champions League competitor, they simply cannot attract the same kind of talent as they could in the good years under Arsene Wenger. Forget about trying to find someone who can do what Aubameyang does. That's impossible because it costs way too much. Instead, you're looking at potential, something to nurture over the next few years. If there's a chance of persuading Aubameyang to stay, as Arteta hints, the club have got to grab it. Others can be sacrificed, others can be sold, but not this fella. This team is far too reliant on his nose for goal. Well, these were the news of the day. I hope you enjoyed whatever came your way. All the views and news and everything about Arsenal comes on this platform every single day, twice. So sit back, relax, and enjoy all the news that comes on this platform. I will see you in my next video. Until then, cheers, and don't forget to subscribe. 75 subscribers, and we reach 5,000, and that would be a really great thing for me. Thank you so much.